Hello, hello. How are you doing? Oh, it's been a roller coaster ride and continues to be, but I think that we have a little brief time here where we can all kind of get our breath back and realign with our higher self and ground ourselves and get our nervous system back to neutral if possible. But today I want to talk about relationships. So my whole, and particularly the empaths relationships, um, how we empaths tend to be codependent or grew up that way. And then as adults, we're trying to figure our way out of that, or how to be emotionally mature. And a lot of what's going on today has to do with relationships. So I've been since I've been a little girl, I've been interested in relationships. I think for those of you who haven't been with me for a while, one of the things that I say is when I was or that I've shared is when I was in third grade, I just knew like power, the word power. I had to understand power in relationships. Now in third grade, I had no idea what that was. And I ended up going to the library. Books tend to fall off of shelves or somebody gives me something or pop in front of me that I need. And I have no idea how I got these two books, but I ended up getting a book from Sigmund Freud, and the other one was on like voodoo, energy, um, power, putting spells on people. And I supposedly read those two books. I think just kind of having them, looking at them page by page, whatever I did, read a few sentences here and there and took it in. And from that point on, I have been fascinated by about the word power and relationships. And I would say probably to share personally, of course, I've been on this journey myself. I did not feel empowered as a young person, and not until really coming into my 40s did I feel a deeper sense of power within myself, having authority over me. And this takes us back. So let me just go over a brief thing with the codependent empath, and then then I'll go back into more specifics around each of these. I have seven notes here that I'm going to share. And this is very important for today because also it has to do with power and the powers that be in the world, and how we feel about ourselves, and do we feel that we can have influence? Can we change things? Do we have, what is our power? What is our power? And so first let me read these. So that I have under my codependent empath is: we regularly put other people's needs ahead of our own. We have a fear of conflict versus engaging in healthy conversations. We refer to self as a nice person, and we fear, again, the conflict, asserting ourselves. We're taking care. It's the nice person who takes care of the other person, who thinks of the other person, versus, so you're not thinking of yourself and what is important to you. You give more than you will allow to receive. Caretaking of people. Let me see. You tend to attract people who don't like to take care of themselves and want somebody to take care of them and make them feel better. They think that somebody out here loving them and taking care of them will make them more of themselves. Self-worth is based on what you do for other people, and you attract people who need rescuing. You take on their problems as if they're your own. And yeah, I said caretaking of people. Okay, so those are the things that we're going to go over. But first I want to talk to you about energy and consciousness. I think this is very important, and we forget, and most of us aren't taught this. And I would, and also I would like to say that this codependent empath that you are, or you might be. I've done a lot of work, but I'm still have some of these that show up periodically, depending on who the person is and how I'm feeling. And so to get that I want to say that you've been programmed to be this codependent person. This started at a very young age. It started in your family somehow, either with your parents, and you were how you were taught to behave, taught to take care of one or more parents, or taught to take care of other children in the home. You were taught that, again, it's like these different definitions of power. You know, the children don't have power. The parents, you listen to what I say, you do what I say. And so they're telling you, and you don't get to think for yourself. So you don't build up the courage, the wisdom, of thinking for yourself, of figuring things out. You're told what to do, and that's actually what happens in school too. So school is part of the programming, and sit down, listen to authority. We're going to tell you what to think, what to do, when to do it, and so it's really hard for you to come up with your own ideas and feel confident about moving forward or thinking for yourself. Again, depends on the programming and how hard it was, or were there fears placed on it? A lot of different things. Did you feel you would be abandoned if you did not participate in this way? So this is kind of like power over. So people are powering over you, and instead of your self-empowerment of you being in a situation and thinking what to do. There's a lot of I know a lot of people who have trouble being on the phone or having a conversation with somebody because they don't know what to do. And so it feels uncomfortable. And there's that part of feeling like they don't want to get in a conflict. And they really don't. Also, the other thing, when you give away your power, you don't know what you want. You're just allowing these other people to have power over you, choosing for you what they want. And so when it's time to have a conversation or time to state out what it is that's really important for you, you can't do it because you haven't thought of it. You haven't thought about it. You haven't checked inside. You haven't checked your own desires and feelings, and you're not paying attention to them. You're paying attention out here. How do I take care of everything out here versus in here, where your real power comes from? And this is not to be narcissistic. This is not to overpower others, but it's in order to stay in alignment with your soul, what you came in here to do, what really matters to you, what service do you want to create? What do you want to create in the world? What kind of relationships do you want, etc.? All these different things in your life, that is your authority. And when you do that, then you can start creating with other people in ways that's a very collaborative community, uh, you know, just beautiful, beautiful creations. Okay, there's so many different ways that I can go, and I did not write any of this down, so I'm just doing this. So, all right, so as we think about, the you being in alignment with you knowing what you want, and I'm hearing that in this day and age where we're at right now, that people don't know what to do. They don't know what to do about the world affairs. They don't know steps to take to change how to let their voice be heard, and they don't want their voice necessarily to be heard because they're afraid of confrontation. And social media has added to this also. All social media has been a power move without people knowing it. You think you're out there being free and sharing things, but they've got that energy. They've got the power over what can be shared a lot and what won't be shared a lot, or shut you down if you're saying the wrong things, have censors. And you get that in little ways by people being snarky coming back or disagreeing with you and whatever, and it's kind of this coming at you. Either stay in these lines, color in these lines, be the person in these lines, be the person that can be overpowered, and you'll be all right. We'll take care of you. Trust us. Trust the government. Trust the leaders, etc. Trust us. Give your power away to us, and we will take care of everything. Well, that hasn't been working, has it? Okay, so when the first relationship that we have is with ourselves, or actually you can even say the first relationship is with Source or God or this quantum field out here, this consciousness, this is all consciousness. And wherever you focus your attention in this consciousness, or you pick up on something intuitively, and dance with it, or you're projecting energy out into this consciousness, starting to form it into something that comes into reality. And so I want to share a part of you that's the real you, is that you are a fractal of this consciousness, which people call God or Source, the quantum field, intelligent, universal intelligence, Buddha, whatever you want to call this. This consciousness is in you, and you are of God, of Source, of this consciousness. You are made of this, and you are here to express what you want to express, and what you are, and meaning, what do you want to create in this creation that we're all dreaming the dream. So whatever you are imagining, so let's call you the dreamer. And it's not dreaming at night, it's dreaming now, dreaming, thinking of what it is that you want. How do you want the world to be, right? How do you want your relationship with yourself to be? How do you want to see yourself? How do you want to be in relationship with others? How do you want to be in relationship in your service? Feeling these things, smelling these things, tasting them, hearing them, visually seeing them. This is how we create in the world. And if you give your power away, and so that is your power, creation is your power, your connection to Source, to this quantum field, is your power. Your abilities, your intuition, your hearing, your seeing, your tasting, your smelling, your feeling, your knowing are your powers. This is your authority. This energetic field around you and your connection to everything is your authority. But when we're born, we forget that. We come in, we might remember it for a while, and then certain things happen, and it's like we can't, all of a sudden we realize we can't be different, or it makes somebody freak out, and then we go, oh, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't be that way. I've got to be in this way. We start getting molded by our family, by our school, by our friends, by the internet, social media, by advertising. You get molded and powered. There's messages coming at you all the time through advertising, through commercials, through music, the music you listen to. Just think anything that comes into your field of energy is having an impact on you. And think of it, it's either empowering you to be more in your authority, more authentically you, or it's disempowering you with words and feelings, frequency. So this out here, right? All of consciousness is energy, And this all has frequency. The trees have a frequency. I have different frequencies. This couch has frequencies. My dog has frequencies. Your cat has frequencies. You have different frequencies for different emotions and feelings and thoughts that bring up our homes, our cars, our friends. Everything is frequency. And so when we get out of alignment, it's like we're in a frequency that is not empowering us. It's disempowering us. And the more we get disempowered, so the more we believe what other people are creating out here in ways that wants to take away our power, like all the media, magazines, stuff that that keeps showing you you're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough, you're not sexy enough, you're not you don't have the right clothes, you're not making enough money, all these little ways that you're not on the right you're not in the right business, you're not in the popular business, you're not one of the popular people, you're too skinny, you're too fat, you smile too much, you don't smile enough, all these different labels, label. And when they're disempowering, when that's coming at you, and there's a lot of this stuff coming at us, gaming. So like if you're killing people in games, you are actually making it so that it becomes much more natural for you to kill. You're desensitizing your empathy, or your it's, even though it's like fun and stuff, it's just like destruction becomes kind of natural because it's desensitizing in there, because this is what you have to do to win the game. So a lot of you that are in corporate would recognize this, that it's like, what do you have to do to succeed to be in corporate? Like you have to sacrifice yourself, your hours, your free time, your time with your friends. You can't think for yourself. You have to do what they say, and a lot of you are in burnout, and they're degrading, and people are not. It's like it's the competition of the fittest, but meaning the fittest, the fittest one is who can shut themselves down the most and doesn't care if they hurt other people in the midst of climbing the ladder for money. So or whatever however you define sex. Sex. Wow, where'd that come? I'm sorry, my dog was jumping on. Well, that might be part of it. I don't know how that came out, but success is what I wanted to say, not sex. It's funny. But that's the other thing, you know, is that there's all these subtle ways in our relationship with ourselves and in our relationship with others right now, and in our relationship with our original relationship with Source, which is always there. It's never taken away. You are never separate from your consciousness. You are never separate from Source or God or whatever the title is that you put on that. You are not separate, and you are of that. But as we're in these times growing up and going through these different things and trying to find our way to be the best us, and you know, depending on the circumstances that are in our lives, you know, we want to be the popular girl or boy. We want to be liked and loved. And so what we'll do, what if we're not getting it at home from our parents, we'll try to get it somewhere else. We want, and so what is society telling us that you have to do to get attention? You know, you have to like barely dress in anything. You have to be completely hairless. You have to stay in the box, color in the box. You have to sell your soul. You have to make a lot of money, or you have to, you know, there's all sorts of things, you know, always making yourself wrong, always making that something's wrong with you when there isn't anything wrong with you. I want you to hear that. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just the way things are set up these days, and has been for a long time, started a long time ago, but they're really ramping up, is, you know, making you feel not good about yourself. And when you don't feel good about yourself, and keeping you away from other people, wanting to divide the family, don't like your mom or dad, don't pay, you know, push them away, isolate, stay inside, outside's too crazy. There's all these subtle things, and if you're highly sensitive and an empath, you're feeling a lot of the stuff that's going on in humanity, or what the eruptions and different things that are happening around the world, and you are sensitive to the news, what's going on, and that can disrupt your nervous system, and things start to get out of whack, and you're out of alignment, and you're not grounding yourself, you're not getting out in nature and making sure that you're you know, you come back to self. Instead, you're kind of on this hamster wheel. How do I take care of everything? How do I take care of my family, or how do I take care of my house, my animals, or do it at work? And it just seems like it's getting faster and faster and faster and faster, and it creates this craziness. And this craziness is on purpose, in order to disempower you. So you're like, I don't know, it's so crazy, and there's so many things, and they're just throwing all these things out there, and it's I don't know what to do. I just want to go hide. I don't want to be out there in the world. And you start shutting yourself off, and you start thinking you are going crazy. You start and because you're not treating yourself well, your body feels yucky. That's a scientific term, yucky. You feel, you know, that disempowerment. You feel hopeless. You feel depressed. You feel repressed. You know, it's just like you can't have what you want, because, in part, because you don't know what it is, because you're out here doing too much and showing up in the world like other people, you think other people want you to be, and that's how it should be, instead of slowing down, spending some time in nature, thinking, okay, wait, take a break. So that's why I haven't been around for a little while here, and why periodically I might have these stops in between these videos, is I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a ton. And in part, it's very exciting. And then I'm having to integrate what I'm learning. I'm having to master it or feel the feelings of it, or learning and then having like, okay, this is the way that I want to show up. And so I have to release these aspects of me that are limiting me, that is that old programming that's disempowering me. That's what limiting means, disempowerment. And sometimes when we're in that place too, we think that people can do these terrible things to us, that they can yell at us and make us responsible for everything. And they're not responsible for anything. They're like, da, 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 da. Well, when you're pointing a finger, there's 3 fingers pointing back at you. And so realizing that, think of us all, if you're not, think of us all that we're like little kids running around that have been traumatized, or in all different ways. Some people's traumas can be like, oh my gosh, terrible, like a sexual assault, and somebody could just be like, and their parents told them that they didn't want them to be born when they were didn't want them when they were young, and then somebody said they didn't like you. Like, all of those are different experiences, and they can all have a very traumatic, depending on the person and how you took that, and what the support system you had when you went through them, either allows you again to have some self-authority, where you get to decide what you think and feel about yourself, and not take on what somebody else is saying about you and make that be your foundation of who you are. Because that's why people feel insecure, and is because there is no strong foundation within them. They don't know who they are, because who they are has depended on what the people around them, how they treat them. And yeah, and so anyway, you, me, right? So what happened was, then we're responsible for whether people are happy or sad or depressed or angry or mad. So we start walking through the world thinking we're responsible for everybody in our life about how they feel. And so we keep trying to fix that. We want to fix it for them instead of taking care of our own life, and then we're exhausted, burnt out by doing even all the other stuff that we're doing. So let's talk about that. Number 1, regularly putting other people's needs ahead of our own. So again, you've been taught that, you've been programmed that in every area of life, in the health field, in the educational field, in the family, in the educational field, in the media, all sorts of things. And depending on when you've grown up too, there's different things that of times that are happening then, that are adding influence to that, or people use as a leverage to convince you that you're less than, or you need to do this, or that you're broken, or et cetera, et cetera. So like a baby boomer and a Gen Z, we would have difference there, because it's different times. There would be different circumstances that substantiately influenced how we were feeling about ourselves and about others, and what those were creating in the world. So that's a little bit about yourself, and we'll come back to self, but I want to get to others right now too. So your relationship with others. So if we're a bunch of little kids walking around, what we're doing is we're trying to get our needs met, what we think we need: love, compassion, to be heard, to be seen. It might even be, a roof over our head, food in our stomach, etc. But those basic needs, we're looking to feel part of something. to feel, to find ourselves. and so we're looking, we end up going out and finding our mom and dad who didn't give us what we wanted, and then we're trying to work it out with these other people who are like the little kids looking for the same thing. And you know, when you find somebody who's a friend, and that you're trying to get this, creates the codependency, because you're meeting some of their needs, being a caregiver, being conscientious, caring about how they feel, and and they don't have to do a lot. They don't have to give a lot to you. Right? So they're, because you're the people pleaser, you'll take care of them without asking for a lot. So so that's kind of, the highly sensitives tend to attract the narcissists, or the people that the avoidance characteristics of somebody, right? Where they don't want to be, they just want to be loved and not have to do a lot. And you you don't want to argue. you don't like being uncomfortable in conflict. So you're not gonna argue a lot, and your emotions are probably going to be very held closely. And probably what will happen is, periodically, where you just can't stand it anymore, then you explode. So yeah. So the fear of conflict, right, is because we don't want to be out of the box. We don't want to be abandoned. We don't want to make somebody mad in our codependent thing. We don't want to get fired. We don't want to have our partner get in a fight with our partner because they might leave, or they might hurt us, or they'll be degrading, or you'll feel alone. You'll feel fear. You don't want to feel that fear if there was a lot of violence or something in your family, etc. And you weren't taught to have healthy conversations. You weren't taught how to put your needs first. So I just want you to get right. So there's kind of that, again, the power over, been taught on a big picture, because there are people that want you to just be quiet, do your thing, get on it, make them lots of money, and they don't care about you. And we care about people. And so that's the inner power, the authority power. And so so referring to self as a nice person, right? So we're just nice because we don't argue. We're nice because we just go along. We give our power away. We just we just do what others are doing. We've made it so it doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. And that's not an interesting person. You have no authority. You don't know what you want. So in this world right here, right now, with the world in the state it's in, and I ask you, what kind of world do you want to live in? What kind of world is it? Because part of you probably aren't even putting terms to what the world looks like now, what's happening. You're just pointing fingers at a few characters, at a few distractions. You're not looking at the big picture. So in the big picture of this world, take some time and figure out, what do I want to create, and what do I want to create with other people? Because then that will start to give you answers about who you're going to have to be, and what actions will need to be taken in order to not have somebody have power over me, or doing things that none of us want, but nobody's saying no. So part of that authority, right, is for you to say no, is to stand up and speak no, even if it causes somebody else discomfort. It's the child trafficking. No, diseases and, a lousy health system. No. Uh, a government that isn't serving us and serving the people. It's serving itself. No. War. No. Again, these are mine. You can have whatever you want, but this is just part of it. It's not my big picture about what I say. Clean water, clean air, clean food, clean soil. Abundance for all, unity, peace. Those are some bigger pictures. But then I've got pictures to go with that. I've got feelings. I've got, Mother Earth thriving, people caring, people connected, community, communities, personal authority, and then also collective authorities that are for the people, not for governments, not for leaders. The leaders work for us. We're paying them to work for us, but they're not working for us. So who would you have to be in order to start speaking out or making things known or start signing petitions or drawing up petitions or going out on, oh shoot, what do you call those? When groups of people gather together in squares and say, this is what we want. Talking to people, that's the other thing. Like, there's no relationship in order to talk about a variety of subjects because people aren't researching subjects because they just are saying, I don't want to be in any conflict. I don't want to, I'm a nice person. I don't want to deal with that stuff. I don't want to think about that stuff. It's just wrong. And I don't want to get in a fight with anybody, so I'm just not going to talk about it, and I'm not going to let anybody talk to me about it. How are you going to learn? How are you going to find out what is going on so we can come up with solutions? We need young leaders coming forward. We need leaders who can think on their own, but, what do I want to say? With information and with others can have hard conversations, even though it's uncomfortable, but to figure out like what is going on, because there's a lot of stuff going on that could easily be stopped, but it's not because people aren't saying stop. And they're not having conversations, and people are thinking, because you've been trained, also that's part of it, to not be in relationships with others who have different opinions because they don't want you to figure this out. Like, really, people in relationship with yourself, with others, with source, you need to have some big picture. It's all right to be uncomfortable. That's how we know we're growing. That's how we know we're learning. It is not to be a comfortable numbing on the hamster wheel, sacrifice self, suffering life. That is not life. You have a soul in you that came here to create this new world, that came here to help, to find, to be innovative, to be leaders, to be starting new things and getting rid of the stuff that's not working and creating the stuff that will work. But you don't even know that stuff isn't working because you are caught in, you're following other people. You're being the people pleaser. You're staying in the box. You gotta you've been programmed to do this. Okay. Give more than you're willing to allow yourself to receive, because you've been taught your value is to helping other people and not what you can create. So it's taking care of other people, not creating something with them. So, and this is a way of distraction so that you don't get to know yourself. It's distracting to be out there taking care of everybody else and meeting their needs versus getting clear on who you are and what you want and what you have to do in order to create a solution. When I was super shy, oh my God, super shy, super perfectionist, super people pleaser, taking care of everybody. I was this list, taking care of everybody. That was my self-worth. And then I had an awakening. I had a little kundalini thing happen, and some shocks to help wake me up. And I had to, and I had kids. That's another thing, so I had kids. So all of a sudden I'm having to speak up as the authority for my children because they didn't have a voice. I had to check what is this? Does this serve my kids or not serve my kids? Right? And so it's like I had to start doing it. I started doing it for my kids before I started doing it for myself. But once I started doing it for my kids, that, fed me. And I got to see, oh, I'm supposed to be doing that for me too. Even though it was so hard, I'd be almost crying and my voice be shaking, or I'd be the odd one. I didn't get my son circumcised, and they're like, well, everybody does that. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that to my son. They don't medicate them. There's no reason for it. Blah 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 blah. And I did my research and just like, no, I'm not doing that to I'm not creating that trauma at birth, after birth, for my son. And I different things for my family growing up. It was like, no, we're not doing things. I'm and there's something, it must be because I'm Aquarian or whatever, but and other things, but that I just was not going to be in the box, even though a lot of me was in the box for a while, until I started gaining the confidence of like doing the research, being able to do the research, and once I questioned something, then to go do that. And I found a few other people who were along. We would have conversations, and even having conversations with usually people very close to me, not trusting in what I would say, and then they'd be, hey, that thing you were talking about, the echinacea or something. I was into holistic health before there was holistic health, and they're like, oh, it came out in the paper today. It's like I don't know anything until it's in the media, in the mainstream media, which is way too late for a lot of people for different things. So, it's over the years discovering who I am, little by little, pulling all these aspects of myself that have been conditioned and freeing that so that I can be free to be me, even in the face of people not valuing that and not wanting me to, and wanting to have power over me, and upset that I'm not playing the game the way they're playing it, because I don't see that as a means of being successful in my mission here, and what I have to bring to the table. And this is why I'm sharing this with you, because I believe you are the same. We're not the exact same people. We're all very different. We all have different reasons that we're here. And so I'm going to be reiterating that you are frequencies, and you've been taught to stay like within a certain frequency, and the games you watch and the movies you watch and the music you listen to and the people you hang out with the most keep you in a bubble of frequency that either is empowering you or limiting you. And you need to start figuring that out, and then getting out of it. And that has to do in all areas of your life, your personal life, all your relationships, your work, your career, your health, your your finances, and everything, your social life, what you create, everything, every single thing. And when you understand that when you are the dreamer, when you are in control, when you are your own authority in what you're thinking and what you're feeling and what you're desiring and the actions you're taking in order to be that, to raise your frequency, to stay in that frequency, to keep imagining, feeling it, smelling it, eating it like it's already here. And and when you can do that, like for this new world, to have clean skies, you know, to who are you? What has to happen? What has to let go? What parts of you have to transform? And things are happening very quickly, so you don't have to go through years of therapy. You don't have to, you know, have this be a long time. Things, the energies are right now, like, and have been for a couple years here. It's going faster and faster and faster that we can let go of that stuff, transform ourselves, and start making decisions right now. Like, oh my God, I want to learn what Marilyn's talking about. I want to create this world. Start writing it down. Write down, what's the big picture? And if you need help, hire me. That's what I'm really good at. So if you're stuck in any aspect of your relationships, whether it's in your job, whether it's to yourself, it's always to yourself, and whether it's a lover, whether it's a marriage, whether it's to your children, whether it's to your health and yourself and your health, finances, and then also out here in the world, into community. So the last few years have been promoting you to be independent, like away from other people. I'm telling you, for your health and well-being, you need to find not like-minded community, but healthy communities. And I mean like-minded in that you can have different perspectives, different views on things. You can, but the whole, you have similar values. You have values, you know, clean sky, water, whatever. If that doesn't matter to you, then you're going to find those people that doesn't matter to. But again, write down what it is that you want, and then who do you have to be to start initiating that? And that person is that every day when you wake up, you imagine this new world, and you feel it, and you feel yourself happy and out and about, and like walking down your street or in your village or town, and people are hello, and you know people's names, and you have time to chat, and your heart feels full, and you're creating whatever it is that you love to create, and your body is strong and healthy, and your mind is clear, and you feel grounded, and you look up, and you know, you can smell the flowers, and the you know, just there's clean, healthy food, and gardens are growing, and people barter and share, you know, beautiful food and meals and kindness. That's just a start. And Mother Earth is quieting down, and whoever the instigators of the parts that are wanting to disrupt us and wanting to have power over us, they cannot have that power. Everything takes the power away from them and gives the power back to the people, back to the individual that's part of a community. The other thing is that you know, there's a lot of division going on. Then there's little snippets. Just stand back and watch what's coming at you, and what are they telling you? You know, it's like you know, there's all sorts, you know, dividing countries, dividing nations, dividing peoples, you know, it's dividing sexes, all sorts of crazy things. Again, because if things are divided, if you're an individual, you have less power than a community who comes together to support an agenda or a reform or a solution to a problem. right? There's all sorts of things that we can do together that we cannot do on our own. So don't think AI, and AI is not your friend. You need real live friends in your community. All right, let me see, go quick here. So taking care of people, again, I said that that is how we define who we are and we get our value back from. But when you do that, you know, everything, whether you feel good or not, or get appreciation or not, most of the time you're not getting paid for it. If it doesn't work out, or they don't do what they're supposed to do on their end, then it's your fault. It's always your fault if it doesn't work. And it's not your fault. You know, people who are okay, listen to this. People who think of themselves as problem solvers always find problems to solve. Like when I heard that years ago, I was like, oh my God, I'm freaking looking for problems to solve. So of course my life is going to be problem after problem after problem after problem. So say you're not a problem solver. You're an innovator, you're creative, you know, you're creating things, right? And again, empower yourself and empower others to be creative, either creating with you or creating their own thing. So are you disempowering others, or are you empowering your others, right? Well, always let's look at that. What's your frequency? Is it low and depleting, or is it high and high isn't revving? High just is like love or gratitude or peace. That is empowering and uplifting and energizing. And wherever your frequency is, that is what you're going to be magnetizing to yourself. And we're coming into a time also, if you've noticed, that there's lots of flooding, lots of different things that are happening, bizarrely, fires, etc. You need community in order to survive. And so get to know your community, whether something happens or not. Don't wait until there's something bad happens. Think about this as like, again, together we can do more than we can on our own. So get to know who's in your neighborhood. Get to know who, maybe there's an older person, younger person, whatever, mother, single mother with kids that would need help if something was happening, or is there lots of animals, etc. Thinking about bigger picture, dreaming the bigger picture of what you want. So it's sitting down instead of out here. Like people can be emotionally mature. I want a world where people are emotionally mature, most of them, right? And so where we can have really interesting conversations. I know all of you do too. Where we can learn from each other and grow and be creative with each other. It's exciting. Where there's novelty that's fun, where we are creating in the unknown and not afraid, because we have each other and we know who we are. It doesn't have to be completely, because you're growing and learning all the time until the day you die, and then you're going to continue after that. All right, self-worth is based on what you do for other people. No, your self-worth is based on who you are. Who you are to yourself, and how your presence in the world with others. Probably one of the most impactful things that I can do, and that I think that you can do, is I say, I see you, I hear you, yes, you know, like listen and be there for somebody, and they feel your presence with them. And that there's an unconditional love for humanity, for each other, for animals, for Gaia. You know, there's this spark in our hearts, that fractal of God that we are, which is unconditional love, is present. Now, you might take a while to get there. That's fine. That doesn't matter. But just being with others. And first of all, when you do that for yourself, be there for yourself first, and your body goes, oh my God, thank you, thank you, thank you. Your heart opens, it melts, your body starts to heal. There's so many things that happen just from you going, hey, what do you need? I love you, I feel you, I feel that pain, I feel your grief, I feel, whatever is going on with you. That you feel it and be with yourself. The body, this vehicle that holds your soul, responds so positively. It raises your frequency. I'm so grateful for you. It's amazing. We are so powerful beyond your imagination. All right. You attract people who need rescuing, and you take on their problems. Yep. You don't need to do that, right? It's like if you're a problem solver, then you're going to be solving people's problems. You're going to be looking for problems, and that isn't what you wanted to do, right? You don't want that. You want to be creating solutions, yes, but think of it as creating, not solving somebody else's solutions. And how are people going to grow if you are just solving their problems? Give them a way to experience, like, what do they think? Help them find their own authority. Okay, so a couple exercises here. It's like, so when you feel triggered, or you feel like, oh, something comes up, and that it's like, oh, there's that programming Marilyn was talking about. So I want you to think, like, how do I feel out of alignment? Like, what's the feeling? So get in and just sort of have a conversation with yourself about what is it that you're feeling? What does it feel like? And then like just allow yourself to feel it, and watch what happens when you feel it. Because when you just allow yourself to feel what's there and just watch it, just be an observer, just like, oh, look at it, it's in my shoulder and now it's traveled to my heart. Oh, I feel a little tightness in my rib cage. And then you might feel it just disappear. And then notice how you feel. So you just let that go. There doesn't have to be a story around it. So you can be looking for, what are my stories? What's the stories I keep telling myself? I keep attracting these people in my life. What's the story I keep saying? I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I can't pick them out. I keep getting these loser people, or my bosses, people hate me. They don't treat me well. All of that. Because you're taking on all of their stuff. They're just throwing their stuff at you because you feel disempowered. You haven't empowered yourself. You don't know who you are or what you want. So you can't be solid and in authority in front of them and just be like, oh, it's not about me, it's about them. That's their issue. It's not my issue. Or it's like, oh, okay, I am doing this and I'm going to change that, and then watch the whole reality change, because you dreaming the dream is creating a new reality. Right then and there, you start creating a new reality. You are the one who creates your reality. If you don't like it, then you need to start empowering yourself to start creating it, thinking about it, feeling it, smelling it, eating it, knowing it, hearing it, like it's alive right now. But you have to know, like, what's going on with me? What am I blocking? Why am I limiting myself? Why am I putting myself down? You have to see that you're doing that, and oh, I'm way down here in frequency. And no wonder I'm calling all that in, because I'm calling in the people. The way that I think about myself, the way others are treating me, is because I'm treating me that way. If you think other people are abandoning you, you're also abandoning you by giving your power away, by letting them decide for you, by not speaking the words that you really want to be saying. by not creating what you came here to create, by not feeling uncomfortable and moving forward because something's important to you. So I think that's where I'll leave it right now. I think that's a good place to stop. Whew, it's a lot. I know it's a lot. And, you know, this is what I do. If you want some help getting through that and figuring it out, whether it's in your love relationship, whether it's business relationship, your relationship with yourself, anything. I'm all about relationships and you finding out who you really are so you can speak your truth and create in the world and dream your dream and see it manifest with other people. And that's one thing that we have to all start coming to, and to not letting those people who want to have power over us have control. We have to take it back and say, no, we are going to create this amazing new world. We're going to create these things that will make a difference and be for the greatest benefit of all, as well as Gaia. Okay, till we meet again, love, live, and matter. Take care. Take care of yourself. Start there. All right, love you. Bye.